Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loki here. Join me today as we talk all about cyclamen. So let's go. Let me start by saying I'm not an expert when it comes to cyclamen. This will be my first time growing the plant. I've done a lot of research and I want to go over why I bought the plant and what I'm planning to do with it. And I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't just buy one plant. I bought 3 plants to experiment with. But you know what? If one plant dies, at least I'll still have 2 more. So first, let's start with a little backstory. I love to watch YouTube videos just like you do, and I was watching some videos of people that live in much warmer climates than me, and they were buying cyclamen to put in container pots as well as out in the landscape during the winter months. And as much as I enjoyed watching people plant those in their landscape, I knew it's not for me because I'm not going to be able to plant cyclamen out in my landscape during the winter months. So other than, wow, those are pretty, and I know that there may be some perennial versions of cyclamen out there, I just didn't think much more about it. And then a month ago, my family and I took a vacation out to Portugal as well as the UK, and then I started to change my mind when it came to cyclamen. And it was a lovely trip, by the way. While we were walking around, I believe it was in the UK, I noticed cyclamen everywhere. They were in container pots, they were in the landscape, they were so pretty, and my family and I kept commenting on what a beautiful plant it is. And then I told myself, you know what, maybe I'll give the plant a try. Once I get back home, I'll go to a nursery and I'll see if I can find the plant and maybe I'll buy one. So the other day I was at Home Depot looking around and sure enough, I saw the plants there. But they were pretty pricey. They were $11 just for one plant. And I was like, I don't think so. That's a pretty hefty investment on a plant that may very likely die for me. And my intent for even thinking of buying the plant was to treat it as a house plant because I know that it's not a plant that typically would survive my winters here where I live in New Hampshire Zone 5B. Keep in mind, I had not done any research on the plant. I had no idea what kind of care the plant required, and I definitely did not know that it had a little bit of a reputation for being a diva plant. So then I went over to the clearance section in Home Depot, and jackpot, I found not only one, but 3 of these plants that were marked down to $2.49 a piece. I started looking over the plants, and one plant looked really sad, very dry. 2 other plants looked a lot better, and all 3 of them had the same color of blooms, which was a white color flower. I had a hard time deciding which one to get. Well, I ended up buying all 3, even the sad looking one, because I figured no one else is going to buy that pathetic looking plant. So I spent a total of $7.47, and I figured that's still cheaper than buying one healthy looking plant. It's worth the experiment, and let's see what happens. I bought these plants on January 9th. Today is January 13th. I kept them out in my garage for a couple of reasons. My garage is on the cooler side, and I had heard that these plants thrive in cool weather, so I didn't want to bring them right in until I thought more about it. Also, I figured if there were any kind of creepy crawlies, fungus gnats, anything like that, let's just keep them outside for the time being. Well, I've done my research. I have to admit, I'm scared and I'm excited all at the same time. So my plan for this video is to go over what the plants need in order for them to thrive. Then I'm going to share with you my plans for how to go about cleaning up the plants, and then we'll place them where they're going to go in my house. First, let's start with perennial cyclamen. That's right, there are even some cyclamen that are hardy here where I live in New Hampshire Zone 5B. Not these ones, but other ones, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about them. There's Cyclamen hederifolium, also known as ivy-leaved cyclamen. They're a pretty robust cyclamen, and they're usually hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9. You'll typically see them blooming in late summer or early fall. Next up is Cyclamen coum, or eastern cyclamen. They're also hardy generally in USDA zones 4 through 9, and they bloom sometime in the winter or early spring months. And then finally, there's Cyclamen siliceum. And those cyclamen are also usually hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9. On a different date, I'm actually going to do a little more research on those hardy cyclamen and see if I can maybe order just one for my yard to give it a try. So in the cooler climates, like the one I live in, normally you're going to find the cyclamen during the holiday months, and they're sold as annuals. Or you can treat them as a houseplant as well. But a lot of people just buy them for the holiday and then they throw them away. And one of the reasons that I wanted to buy one for myself is I want to see how long I can keep my plant going, because technically it is a perennial. It just needs to be treated as a houseplant, and it needs a little bit of extra care. So these cyclamen are tender perennials. They're an annual where I live. They'll be treated as a houseplant. but I want to keep them going year after year. They prefer a Mediterranean type of climate and they're hardy in USDA zones 9 through 11. So if you're one of the lucky ones, you might be able to treat these as a perennial, but a majority of us have to treat them as an annual and just keep them as a houseplant. Now let's talk about how to care for Cyclamen persicum. They're actually grown from tubers and they have a heart-shaped leaf. They have butterfly-like flowers that come in a variety of different colors, and you usually see them blooming in the late fall into the early spring months. The plants thrive in cool conditions, not conditions you normally find inside of your house. So remember I said they're a bit of a diva plant? That's one of the reasons why. Ideally, you want to put them in a place that stays somewhere between 40 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit during the daytime. In fact, at night, they'll do better if you put them in a place where it stays between 40 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the nighttime temperature maybe is not as important, but some people will place them in a very cool place during the night and then bring them out into an area where it's a little bit warmer in that temperature range, of course, during the daytime, just so they can enjoy their plant a little bit. Heat or temperatures 68 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit or higher will actually initiate dormancy, which tells the plant to basically die back. They thrive in bright indirect light, so placing them in a north or east side facing window is optimal. You want to avoid placing them in direct sunlight because that can cause scorching of leaves. So again, that makes for a very tricky situation. You want them to be in a cool area, which is not typical of what you find in your house, and yet you want to give them indirect sunlight. The tubers are very susceptible to rot. So when you water the plant, you want to water it in a way that you're not getting the tubers wet. One of the best ways you can water this plant is just by bottom watering it. Also, the plant will be mad at you if you get water on its leaves, so be careful of that. One thing you can do is just take your finger and put it in the soil. If the top inch of the soil is dry, that tells you that it's time to water your plant. Cyclamen thrive in high humidity. One way that you can achieve that humid environment is by taking a saucer, putting some pebbles in it, putting water in there, and then taking your pot and placing the pot on top of that. Just make sure that the bottom of the pot is not sitting in water. During the time of active growth, when your plant is blooming, you want to make sure you're fertilizing it. You can fertilize your plant every 2 to 4 weeks with a half-strength fertilizer, preferably one that's low in nitrogen. And just a warning, all parts of this plant can be poisonous if ingested. The leaves as well as the flowers have the lowest concentration of those compounds that can be poisonous. It's actually the tubers that have the highest concentration, so just know that. I do have cats. They're not very curious. I do plan to keep the plants in my house up high where my cats don't jump. But I will be cautious about any of the leaves or the flowers dropping. I'm going to be checking on my plants every day anyway. So when I check on the plants, I'll look around to make sure that none of this material has dropped to the ground. Now I'm going to demonstrate what I plan to do with these poor pathetic looking plants. This was the most pathetic looking one that I decided to save. And I saved it because I saw this. It's not completely dead. What I did read and what I've researched is when a plant is lacking water, it's going to faint. And that's exactly what it did. It basically fainted on me. Such a little diva, but I guess I would faint too without water, right? So the first thing we're going to do is just remove this decorative wrapping because if anything, it traps water in the bottom and I want water to flow out. The next thing I can do is just remove this piece here. Merry Christmas. And this tag I'll keep in here because it's good to have this information. So that's just what it says on the front here. Seasonal classic, which again, that's why a lot of people buy these and then throw them away each year. So if you have one, don't throw it away. Try to keep it going. And then that's just the information that's on the back. Feel free to stop the screen if you want to read it a little bit further. It pretty much mimics a lot of what I've already talked about. So next, I'm actually just going to come in and cut back a lot of these leaves that don't look very good. And I'm only going to leave a few that look good. So we're going to be doing a pretty good hack job to this plant. And I'm just using these shears that I have. You can really use whatever you have handy as long as it can cut. And I'm following each of these stems down to the base and cutting. This leaf, even though it's drooping, it looks good. I'm going to keep it for right now. I do want to just keep some leaves on here because the plant still needs to be able to photosynthesize. These as well, I'm just going to leave them on there for now. And my hope is that it will start sending out new leaves. And as it starts to send out new leaves, I'll continue basically cleaning up my plant. I know that seems harsh, but trust me, it's better for the plant. I'm even going to leave this one on here for right now. even though it has a little yellowing. And once I start seeing new leaves forming from the center here, I can remove maybe some of these other leaves that don't look very good. So of the 3 pots, this was the worst looking one, which is why we started with it. I can see that the soil is a light brown color, and this feels very light. I have a shallow tray here with no holes in the bottom, which is perfect for me to pour some water in this so that this can start sucking up water. The water will basically just be wicked up to the top of the plant. And I have a pitcher that has this bag here. I basically put mosquito bits. I like to use mosquito bits on any plant that I have in my house because I don't want any fungus gnats. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour the water in here. And I'll let the plant do what it needs to do. I'll wait probably about 20 minutes or so, but also I'll be able to pick up this pot and I can see that once it's heavier, that it's had enough water, and quite possibly in the top here, this might start to turn a darker brown color. We're going to move this to the side and work on our next plant. This one also did not look great, but it looked better than the last one. Remove the bottom packaging. And this is an example of a blossom that has already gone by, and this one as well. I don't know much about propagating this plant from seed. And since I'm very new to this plant, I don't even want to think about any of that yet. My biggest concern is to get these plants to recover because they don't look good. And we just want to clean them up and do what needs to be done. So we are starting with cutting back anything like this that just doesn't look good. And also we're cutting back spent blooms, which is basically deadheading the plant. So to deadhead the plant, this is a bloom that is spent. We're just going to follow it all the way down to the bottom and cut that. And what's really encouraging is I do see some new flower buds here, so I will get to enjoy some blooms. As I'm following leaves that don't look good down to the base, I'm trying to be careful because there are a lot of new buds that are at the base here, so I don't want to clip those. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to continue cleaning this plant up, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all done. Much better. And the soil is a dark color, and when I pick this up, it feels pretty heavy. But because I got this from Home Depot, I'm worried that there might be fungus gnats or fungus gnat eggs in here. So in order to help just with treating the plant a little bit, what I'm going to do is also bottom water this just a little bit because I want to make sure that if there are any fungus gnats or fungus gnat eggs in here, that I'm treating for that. This one does not look so bad, does it? It looks a lot better than the other two. And the funny thing is, there are actually no blooms, and I don't even see many buds at the bottom of it, given that it looks the best of the 3. So there's not a lot of care that needs to be done with this particular plant, but I might as well just go in and take out any of the leaves that don't look good. They're mostly at the base here. I had read that instead of cutting the leaves, you can twist them, and that's another way to clean up your plant. So once my plants get a little bit nicer and bigger like this, that might be the best way to remove any of the older leaves, is to come in like that and just twist. Because I find that when you're trying to cut back the leaves, by mistake, you might also cut back a flower bud that's at the base here. So I'm just coming in and giving it a little bit of a twist. But I don't plan to fuss with this plant too much because overall it looks really good. The soil is also pretty dark on this. It feels pretty heavy. I'm going to bottom water it a tiny bit just because I want to get a little bit of the mosquito bits into this. Now let's talk about what comes next. I am going to add some of these yellow sticky traps into each of the pots. Again, in case there were any fungus gnats or fungus gnat eggs that were in those pots, I want to make sure I'm getting those fungus gnats. So I just want to be proactive. The cyclamen are going to get placed in my house that stays pretty cool. In fact, I'm going to put a thermometer in there just so I can monitor the temperature and make sure it's a nice cool room for those plants. Each day I'll monitor the plants and just make sure they're looking good, they're thriving. If I notice any issues, I'll attend to those. And then I'll do the regular maintenance when it comes to grooming and fertilizing the plants. Next, I want to talk a little bit about plant dormancy. In the spring, the plant will start to go dormant, which is its natural rest period. It will flower less and eventually it will stop flowering. And then you'll notice that the leaves are starting to turn yellow and are dying back. At that point, I want to reduce watering the plant. I want to move my pots to a cool, dark, dry location, which for me will be in my basement, but for you it might be a different place. Every week during that dormancy period, I want to give the tubers the slightest sip of water. Now let's go over waking up and reviving the tubers. Sometime in late summer, which for me is around September, I'm going to go ahead and take my plants out of dormancy so that I can wake them up. These plants are new for me, but if the plants were 2 or 3 years old, it's also a good time at that point to repot them. I will move my plants back in a cool area in my house where they will get indirect bright light. Once I see new growth appearing, I can then go ahead and resume watering and eventually resume fertilizing my plants. And then the whole cycle will hopefully begin again where the plant will start blooming for me in the late fall, early winter months. You may have received a cyclamen plant as a gift, or maybe you bought one for yourself during the holiday season and you were wondering what to do with it. That's one of the reasons why I chose to make this video, to show you what I'm planning to do with my plant and also to share any research that I found in terms of taking care of the plant. I'll keep you posted on how my plants do. Fingers crossed I can keep them going. Please let me know in the comments your experience with cyclamen. Have you ever grown it? Is it an annual or a perennial where you live? And if you do have the perennial version that's hardy in my zone, let me know how it does for you. And until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.